G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today, I'm going to be showing you a pretty special video. This is the video that I unlock my Reggiane 2005. I'm in the G55S, I'm on Ruhr, and we get more kills combined than the entire lobby combined. Yes, that's right, myself and my squad mate get a lot of kills between us. It isn't really that many, to be honest. You'll see as the video progresses. But we end up getting more kills than the entire lobby. Yes, that's right. Sometimes your team can be so bad and your enemy team can be so bad that it just happens. Now, I'm not going to, talk too much more shit about the enemy team, but we're in the Reggiane and we're in the G55S. We're in two very strong planes. And these planes are probably some of our favourites, to be honest. As you can tell, my squad mate is Percy. And Percy is a streamer. So if you want to go and have a look at his streams and have a watch every now and then, you're more than welcome to. I'll put his Twitch rather in the link. The link will be in the description below. You know the drill. I would also like to say thank you to everyone who has bought merch. Now, I'd like to do a little promotion sometime during November. So maybe for the rest of November, maybe for a week. Would you buy the merch if it was, say, $5 or $10 cheaper, something like that? I'd love more people to buy this merch because fewer people than I thought, to be honest, were buying the merch. And that's fine. If you don't want to buy it, you don't have to. I don't want to force people to. I want to thank the people who already have. But at the same time, I would like to cover the cost of the artist. And so, if there's any motivation, I suppose, for you guys to buy something, then I'd like to, share it with you. That's, something that I'd like to do. I'd also really love to fund another project to do with merch. So, the more that people buy, the more merch that I can produce, which would be lovely. But merch aside, we're going to be talking about the G55S and the Reggiane. Well, the Reggiane I'll cover specifically in a video of its own, but the G55S in this battle is perhaps the most instrumental part. You'll see me doing a lot of the hard yards in this battle, and you'll see me baiting, you'll see me doing all the important stuff that you need to do. And you can see that on the screen, even though I'm AFK climbing, I am still climbing. And the important part of climbing in War Thunder, especially, only props. I wouldn't say climbing is necessary in jets. I would say it is extremely necessary in props, and that's what we're going to talk about today as well. If you have an altitude advantage over your opponent, it is a lot harder for your enemy to get above, or to get to your altitude, or to get to within shooting distance of you. The normal range of a 50 caliber bullet will travel about 1.4 kilometers. Now, if you are 1.4 kilometers above your enemy, and they decide to zoom climb up and you have identical speed, you can zoom climb up as well. And you can stay out of the range of those 50 cals. Any other gun is about the same. You can stay out of the range of those guns. And in fact, you can make it so hard to the point where your enemy just gives up and goes and finds another target. Having an altitude advantage in props means that you can pretty much exacerbate the difference in altitude and the difference in energy, because the way props work is altitude first and speed later. Now, at this point in time, I'm going to be doing a gradually faster and faster climb as I get to altitude. And this isn't necessarily to increase my speed or it is to increase my speed, but it's not necessarily to increase my climb rate. It is more to increase my combat viability. Now, every plane has a speed that they maneuver at best. For example, the MiG-19 is a classic. It has two speeds where it does what you could call the best. It has a nice sort of speed around 900 kilometers per hour, where it turns quite well, and it also has a speed around sub 600, where it turns decently well. And this is, of course, against things like the Phantom and things like the F-100, not so much against the F-86, because you don't want to be turning against something lighter like that. But these are the speeds where it turns the best. This is, for example, where I guess you'll have the best chance against something that turns close to as well as you do. For the G55S, this is somewhere between 450 kilometers per hour. Yes, that is a lot of speed for a prop, but in a dive, you will reach that. And somewhere around about 280 kilometers per hour. Anything below that, and you're going to start to not have enough speed to physically get out of the way of a plane that's cutting in towards you. Because if you think about it, if a plane cuts in towards you, he doesn't have to turn as hard as you do to get out of the way of those bullets. Now, speaking of getting out of the way of those bullets, that's an F6F, AFK climbing, not really doing anything, and he's just realized his mistake. He's putting himself into a turn underneath me, but it's okay because the G55S dives reasonably well. And I'm at that sort of speed where I'm, combat viable. Any other speed, and I probably would have been best off storing it in altitude, much like I've wasted here. I haven't played this well right off the bat. I've gone for the F82 thinking I can get him in an aggressive maneuver, but I really can't. And now I've put myself below this other F82 and I've had to make an evasive maneuver. The more maneuvers you make, the more energy you will bleed, and the less speed you will have. Obviously, speed is important in props, but altitude is your energy. That is where you get your energy from. That is how you, convert that into speed, which you can then use to, dodge shells or dodge bullets, dodge enemy planes, and outrun them. As you can see, the P-47 here will easily outrun me, but he will not easily outturn me because I'm at my combat speed. This is the beauty of props. You have a fine balancing between being able to outrun someone, being able to turn with someone, and how high you are off the ground. If you're a plane that performs well at high altitude, but all your enemies are down low, then you're in a bit of a pickle. But if you're the reverse, then you've got it good. Not always. Because if you have teamwork, then that flips it on its head. The F-82 gets shot up by my mate Percy, and we have a numbers advantage. This is where War Thunder Props becomes extremely interesting. You have a numbers advantage now, but you don't have the altitude advantage. This P-47 is above me, and he's faster than me. Now he's below me, but he's much faster than me now. He's converted that speed, or that altitude, into airspeed, and now he's bolting straight towards me. And I don't really want to deal with that too much, so I do a quick head-on, and then I dive a little bit. I turn outside of his turn, and then I turn above, and then I turn outside towards the inner. And now I'm going to go into a dive, and that numbers advantage that I once had is now a numbers disadvantage. P-51s coming in hot, they have their altitude advantage and they're converting it into speed, and they're doing so at a rate that is extremely quick. One of them goes off for my mate in the Reggiane, and the other one is focused on me. This is the way that you deal with dogfights like these. You boom and zoom, and you wait until your enemy has such low energy that they just fall in front of your guns. It's starting to get worse though, because I've now got a P-47 that wants my PP, and I really don't want that. So what I'm going to do is try and quickly get a shot. I don't manage it. I go for a little bit of vertical, and then I turn it straight in. I've decided that I need to kill this P-47 immediately, and he puts himself into a really nice, easy turn that I can't quite get, and I managed to crit him with the last shot. That gives me enough time to roll around for this P-51, who ends up on my right-hand side. He's going to go over and up and store a little bit of that energy. I'm going to try and go for the shot, and now look at me, I'm out of energy. This is exactly how you deal with planes that turn better than you. You put them as low as they can until they can't go fast anymore, and then they've lost every advantage that they have. You have all the energy, they don't. And this P-47 is playing right into my hands. Hello? No? That's not how you do it. What he should have done is been less greedy and gone for a bit of altitude first. And then I probably would have been dead. But that P-47 will now no longer see combat because he's just been damaged too much by 3 MG151s because he's flown in front of me. Now this P-51 is playing it pretty smart, and he's also going to go for a little bit of altitude. I am watching that P-47 because I don't want to crash, and the other planes have been finished off by either Percy or someone else, like myself. And there it goes. The fight is almost won here, because the enemy played themselves poorly. And with my squad mate on the outside of the battle, just sort of luring one out at a time, gradually brings that numbers disadvantage back into an advantage. You didn't see it in the background, but teamwork is extremely important. And this level of teamwork where you can rely on your teammate to get a couple of shots off, to distract a couple of enemies, to keep them busy, is highly important. I've managed to pick off 3 kills just by catching someone off guard. And my squad mate has managed to pick off at least 2 or 3 kills by picking off someone that I've baited for him. Now, I'm not saying that he's a bad pilot, because he's a very good pilot, because he took the bait and we worked together really closely to take that bait. He's drawn 1 or 2 of the P-51s away from me, and that gave me enough time to deal with the P-47. Because the P-47 was the one that committed to me the hardest, and so that's the one that I'm going to deal with first. Playing with a squad mate who knows what they're doing and who is a good player can really, really boost the way you play War Thunder. The way you interact with your teammates. And you can see here the team has just sort of gone for ground units. It's pretty sad. And it's pretty frustrating, because I could have died and I had 3 or 4 teammates that could have very well helped me. In this case, I've pretty much gotten almost as many kills as the entire enemy team combined, and I don't even have the highest number of kills in the lobby. That goes to Percy at the moment, who's sitting on a comfy ace, and I'm sitting on a comfy 3k, but I can see a B-25 in the clouds there, so it'll eventually be my 4th. 9 kills between us? It's crazy. 9 kills. We carried the team to victory, and the enemy sort of swept off a couple of the stragglers that were farming ground targets. It's a little bit frustrating, but when you have a good team, or when you at least have a good squad mate that you can rely on, that frustration that I would have otherwise had to have carried a game so hard and probably lost because I would have been 3v1 or 4v1 became a victory. Just because I managed to have a teammate that helped me. And these are the things that people really underestimate in War Thunder. The value of teamwork is unprecedented. It's so undervalued. But at the same time, a random teammate is not going to do this. You have to have someone who knows what they're doing. And having a bit of experience, as you play the game, you'll get more experience. You'll learn when to bait, when to do stuff. And both of us being experienced pilots know what we're doing and managed to carry the whole team to the point where both of us got more kills than the rest of the lobby combined. This is what a good squad gameplay looks like. And this is how you effectively deal with large amounts of opponents, working as a team and being extremely well coordinated. Anyway, ladies and gents, that's enough for me. Reggiano gameplay, maybe tomorrow, whenever. But until then, take care, and I'll catch you next time.